Hello everyone, this is the first video on the channel in the year 2026. So first of all, Happy New Year. I wish all good people, my subscribers and those watching me for the first time, strong health, peace and tranquility. And to all those who bring war and destruction, may you disappear from our lives forever. And now to the topic of the video. Today we'll be comparing two binoculars. There was already a similar comparison, SVBONY, the updated version and the old version, but those were binoculars with 8x42 specifications. But here, in front of you, are more compact binoculars with 8x32 specifications. In terms of the package contents, they're basically the same, so I won't focus on that right now. This is what the binoculars look like. These are the prominent, luminous reflections indeed from the optical camera lens. Structurally speaking, the adjustable twist-up eye cups are essentially no different whatsoever from the larger 8x42 model. They work quite well here, performing their intended function admirably, although, as I have already mentioned and reiterated, I personally find that I much prefer the design and comfort of the eye cups on the older model, which offered a more satisfying user experience. So, let's start the comparison by weighing the binoculars. The updated version is almost 490 grams. The old version is 490 grams. Essentially, their weight is the same. The dimensions of the binoculars are also identical. The updated version has slightly more rubberized coating. That is, the left and right halves have a larger diameter. This is a small advantage in favor of the updated model. Now, regarding the price of these binoculars at the end of 2025. On AliExpress, the updated model costs $110, while the old model is $120. On the official SVBONY website, the updated model is $95 and the old model is $106. There's a tiny difference. The old model is a bit more expensive. The field of view in these binoculars is precisely the same, measuring in at 7.8 degrees. And now I will tell you about the optical flaws in these binoculars. Regarding distortion, in the updated version, it's less noticeable, meaning the field curvature has been corrected better. Well, basically, in all updated SVBONY models, both the 8x42 and the 10x42, the distortion has been slightly improved, so objects are now less curved. I spent a long time looking through these binoculars, and the chromatic aberration, both in the updated and the old version, is basically the same. If there is an object, for example, one with a very dark and deep color, positioned clearly against the bright, expansive sky, you can often notice some subtle yet distinct purple or even greenish tints appearing quite clearly at its very outer edge or periphery. So you can see a bit of chromatic aberration at the edges. But as for spherical aberration, if someone doesn't know, that's when the image becomes less sharp at the edge of the field, kind of blurry. In the updated version, in the 8x32 model, it's very, very noticeable. So if you compare it to the old version, it's really quite noticeable. The old version does have spherical aberration, but it's noticeable, but not as much as in the updated version. When you look through these binoculars, it really stands out. And in my opinion, that's quite a big drawback because, well, something needs to be done. The eyepiece needs to be designed in such a way as to reduce this spherical aberration. Well, enough talk, let's get to the comparison. Now I'm going to film through these two binoculars and you'll be able to see everything for yourselves. It's winter now in the Northern Hemisphere. Overall, I genuinely don't particularly enjoy filming during the cold winter months, but what else can you realistically do? I am certainly not going to patiently wait for half a whole year just to finally release this video, am I?
The image will alternate every 5 seconds, allowing you to clearly see the significant difference. As you may readily notice, in the updated version, the image is perhaps a bit more contrasty. The background, specifically the mountains and the forests, appears noticeably sharper. However, spherical aberration unfortunately introduces a drawback because you can clearly see that the image is a bit blurry. This particular visual artifact is considerably less noticeable in the old version. I filmed during precisely the same period, but the persistent clouds kept coming and going quite frequently, so some significant parts of the entire area are covered, almost as if in deep shadow. By the way, I also have another excellent pair of binoculars that truly competes very well with these two impressive SVBONY binoculars. For now, I will give you a little intriguing teaser for the absolutely next video. Now take a look at the short distance. The objects are about maybe 300 meters away. You can clearly see the difference in spherical aberration between the updated version and the old basic version of the SV202 model. I think that quite a few people indeed already possess a variety of different models of SVBONY in their collections. I would be genuinely interested to read in the comments section below which specific binoculars you currently own and actively use. And furthermore, if you happen to possess both the recently updated model and the older original version, please be sure to take a moment and write down which particular one you personally prefer and why you like it more. And if you're interested in my opinion about which binoculars I would prefer, it's hard to say definitively that one is better and the other is worse. Because in the recently updated version, the overall image quality does seem a little bit noticeably better to me. However, since the older version demonstrably has significantly less noticeable spherical aberration, I would still, without a doubt, prefer the older, more established SV202 model. Overall, after carefully considering all the various pros and numerous cons, I have concluded that the older model is still significantly better for my specific needs and preferences. Thank you all very much for taking the time to watch this entire video presentation, and don't forget, to make sure you don't miss future comparisons, you need to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. See you next time.